What's up everyone, it's Jade here from Jade's Corner and we're back with another Teen Wolf related video. Today we're going to be talking about and breaking down every single type of werewolf that has appeared in the series due to the overwhelming amount of comments I received on my every type of alpha explained video from last August of people failing to understand that that particular video was talking about alphas only. It amazed me with the showcase of just how many people lacked reading comprehension skills, but nonetheless this video will be sort of an unofficial sequel to that. And before you watch the video, tip for the viewers, please read the titles of the videos you are watching. But before we hop into the video, a few announcements. As many of my subscribers already know, my original series True Alpha is finally out and on Patreon on the beta and alpha tiers. So if you're new and want to check it out, click the link in the description below. I also have a Discord server as well as a side business where I help people who want to start their YouTube channels get it set up the right way. Links to those will also be in the description, as well as my merch store. The first wave of Jade's Corner merch is officially out, so don't miss out on the chance to get yourself some cool shirts representing the channel. This video is also sponsored by Movie Palette. Have you ever wanted some cool abstract art to display on your wall that represents some of your favorite movies of all time? Well, the guys over at Movie Palette definitely have you covered. With Movie Palette, you guys can choose any abstract art that represents some of your favorite movies of all time. The Movie Palette that I have represents my personal favorite film of all time, the amazing Spider-Man starring Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, of course. Use the code JADE15 in the description to get 15% off your next product, whichever Movie Palette you choose to buy on their website. And once again, shout out to the guys over at Movie Palette for sponsoring this video. And with that all said, let's continue on with the main topic of the video. We're going to be going in order of appearance from the beginning of the series all the way until the end of its first run, from the first type of werewolf we see all the way until the last type of werewolf we're introduced to. I will not be explaining these creatures in depth, as I already have a more in-depth guide that I put out earlier this year. I'll leave a pinned card to that here for you guys to check out after this video. I'll just be doing a general overview of each type of werewolf in the most basic sense. So with that established, let's go. The first type of werewolf in the series that we are introduced to are betas, of course. The first beta we encounter is the main character himself, Scott McCall. Derek Hell in season 1 is also listed as a beta, most likely due to him being a beta under his sister Laura while she was an alpha during their time in New York City. But I've also considered Derek a loner and an omega werewolf, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to refer to what he's listed as officially, which is another beta werewolf, at least for the first season. Beta werewolves are members of a pack who fall under the leadership of an alpha. And speaking of alphas, the next type of werewolf we see in the series, which also appears in season 1, are alphas, with the first alpha we see being Peter Hale. Alphas are the most powerful of the werewolf species in the MTV Teen Wolf verse, and they are also the leaders of their respective packs. Later in the series, different types of subclasses of alphas were introduced. We'll also be covering that in this video as well. In season 2, we're introduced to omega werewolves officially for the first time, with the nameless homeless dude in season 2 episode 1, Omega, being revealed to be an omega werewolf. Scott in this part of the story is also unofficially categorized as an omega due to him doing his own thing, while also unofficially being an alpha of his own, developing a pack according to Derek. I'll make a video explaining this some other time, but by the officials who make Teen Wolf season 2, Scott is still classified as a beta, although he's technically an omega. It's a whole thing. Omegas are lone wolves. They are either that way by choice, they were kicked out of a pack, or they just happen to be the surviving member or members of a former pack that is usually destroyed and taken out due to hunters. Okay, so the lore this season when it comes to the werewolves is finally expanded upon in great detail, and let's just say it gets pretty crazy. We're introduced to four new types of subclasses for alphas this season. The first of which that was introduced were Augmented Alphas. These types of alphas were only seen in the first half of season 3, season 5B, and season 6 part 2. The only augmented alphas we know of in the series are 3 members of the alpha pack, Deucalion, Kali, and Ennis. Augmented alphas are alpha werewolves who gain a significant amount of power and can amplify all their abilities through killing the betas of their respective packs. This was explained by Deucalion and Gerard in season 3A, and the next type of alpha werewolf we're introduced to this season is the Voltron Wolf, also known as the Alpha Twins, Ethan and Aiden. Alphas that are twins in Teen Wolf have a unique ability where they can merge into to a single, larger, more extremely powerful werewolf. Mind you, Ethan and Aiden were able to do this before they became alphas, but they had no control over it until they became alphas under Deucalion. This form was so strong that it even terrified Peter, Hale, a former alpha who could transform into this. Yeah, that's ridiculous. They were also arguably the second strongest members of the Alpha Pack in this form and were only surpassed in power by Deucalion and an almost fully amped Jennifer Blake. The next type of alpha we're introduced to are evolved alpha werewolves and just evolved werewolves in general. With the first evolved alpha we see being Derek's mother, Talia Hale. These werewolves hold the most respect and power in the werewolf community due to them being able to have a perfect balance and hold over their werewolf and human natures respectively. This type of alpha werewolf is also the same type of werewolf Laura Hale was, and this is why we see her shape in the form of a wolf when Scott and Styles discover her buried body at the Hale House. The final subclass for alphas that were introduced to this season are true alpha werewolves, which is the type of alpha werewolf Scott McCall was destined to become and eventually became. Scott achieved this power through his virtuous character and sheer force of will to always do the right thing, and he accessed this power after using his willpower to break through a mountain ash barrier set by Jennifer Blake after she threatened to kill his mother and others, fully completing his ascent into this all-powerful generational power. Although Deaton states that it's rare to encounter a true alpha as they only appear once every 100 years or so. The only new type of werewolf we're introduced to this season is the beta form for evolved werewolves, or omega form for those who think that Derek is an omega still. Derek achieved this form after losing his powers and dying to complete the evolution process to access this level of power. This form put Derek on an entirely different playing field compared to even the likes of true alpha Scott McCall, to the point where he was able to take out a berserker in 4 seconds. Yes, I actually counted how many on-screen seconds it took for him to do that. The final type of werewolf we're introduced to, and I wouldn't even really call this a werewolf type because it seems like this thing was just in a class of its own. The creator of the series, Jeff Davis, even stated that this is the strongest werewolf in the entire series, surpassing that of even full-power Deucalion, who Jeff said was the second strongest behind this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, the Beast of Gévaudan. Over the years, many, and I mean many people have tried to classify this thing as its own type of werewolf, but in my opinion, I actually think it's an omega werewolf. I mean, it's killed over 500 plus people, including innocent people, easily having the highest kill count for any supernatural in the series, which would explain why his eyes are pure blue with no pupils, which indicates that he has no soul, since Peter said that every time you kill an innocent person, a piece of your soul is stripped from you, and he's not tied to a pack. And as explained earlier in the video, werewolves not tied to a pack are omegas. It's only logical to assume that he's an omega werewolf with serious problems, of course. This thing was an absolute demon. It ran through almost every single supernatural creature it came across, including the extremely overpowered dread doctors and even a hellhound. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys leave a like. Also, make sure you guys comment down below all your thoughts and opinions. I will answer and respond to as many comments as I can. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so that you never miss a future upload from me. The way you do that is by hitting the bell icon, setting your notifications to all. Help us reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of this month, in September. And without further ado, I'm Jades Corner. Make sure you guys have a great rest of your day or night whenever you're watching this, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Deuces.